Armies silenced. The K-pop world is in shock. Taehyung finally breaks his silence about something Jungkook has been hiding. A stealthy trip to Tokyo, which had been covered up so tightly, suddenly came to the surface. But why is Taehyung dismantling everything now? What really happened in Tokyo? And why was the army suddenly silent when this truth was finally revealed? Why didn't the army say anything? Why is the world suddenly silent when Taehyung, always calm, always protective, always speaking in metaphorical language, finally decides to say something that has been held back? And why is the secret revealed not just gossip, but something that has the potential to change the way we see Jungkook forever? No one expected that Taehyung's low-key line, spoken during a closed-door interview session with their documentary production staff, would shake the fandom this strong. No one expected that one sentence, yes, just one, would be the opening door to a puzzle that had been locked tightly in Jungkook's memory cabinet. He wanted Tokyo, not just for himself. Simple. Calm down. But it's striking. It was as if he had thrown a sledgehammer into the heart of anyone who heard it. Suddenly, questions flooded the digital space. To Tokyo? When? For who? Done? Why hidden? Jungkook never said anything. Army was never given a clue, except for vague traces that are starting to come into question now. Short videos that are not given context. Blurred photos that fans claim to be similar. And now, confessions of his own friend. What happened exactly? Why should a trip to Tokyo be a secret? Is it about someone? Or about something deeper, more personal, more painful? During this time, many thought that Jungkook's every move was recorded and open to the public. But it's not. Taehyung knows something we all don't. And more surprisingly, he knew this a long time ago, but chose silence. Until that day, it's no secret that the relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung has had its ups and downs. But since 2 years ago, their interactions seem calmer, more mature. But now, the public is starting to ask, is calm the result of keeping secrets that are too heavy to bear alone? I kept it because he told me. That's not the time, Taehyung said flatly. Instantly, the interview turns from a nostalgic session into an emotional confrontation. Even the staff behind the scenes looked at each other, as if not believing that this was finally revealed. What is Jungkook doing in Tokyo? Why does the army feel the need to be silent? Is there anything more than a casual visit? And does it have to do with someone from the past, someone who is always mentioned in the lyrics, but never appears in front of the camera? Taehyung didn't go into detail, but he gave one hint, and it was precisely this hint that left everyone speechless. If you pay attention to the lyrics of the song he wrote after returning from Tokyo, you will know who he met there. The army began digging. The song, My You. The song, Hate You. Songs that seem to be filled with vague messages. Those messages, once considered ordinary expressions of art, now feel different. Is it true that Jungkook has been writing for someone he met secretly in Tokyo? Someone who will probably never be introduced to the public. It doesn't stop there. Taehyung also said something that further muddied the atmosphere. Something that led to the reason why Jungkook avoided the spotlight for some time after the visit. There are things he doesn't want to destroy, but he knew that if he kept it, it would be destroyed. Those words became a fire. The fandom began to speculate. What does Taehyung mean by a secret relationship? Is Jungkook living two separate lives, one as a global idol and one as a young man who just wants to love freely? Or will Tokyo be the last place she sees someone who means so much to her? No one knows for sure. But suddenly, all the puzzles that had been scattered began to come together. The video secretly uploaded by a Japanese vlogger last year shows a Jungkook-like figure at Shinjuku Station in the middle of the night. Photo from the personal Instagram account of a former Japanese trainee who has been linked to Jungkook in the past. The song was uploaded only on SoundCloud and then deleted shortly after. And now, Taehyung's voice said, if it wasn't for me, he might never have had the chance to tell it again. Suddenly, a more suffocating rumor emerged. Is Jungkook sick? Is there something he is struggling with alone? Or is he considering leaving something behind? We don't know. But we know one thing: this is no longer about short trips abroad. It's about an inner upheaval that's never really shared. It's about pain silenced in songs, smiles, and stage highlights. Then came the ultimate question that really tore ARMY's emotions apart. Jungkook is not talking. Does that mean he's waiting for the right time, or that he doesn't want us to know at all? Taehyung didn't answer that. But her tears explained a lot. The interview was abruptly stopped by the producer. No further explanation. But the damage is already done. The world knows now. And the ARMY? They were suddenly quiet. One of the biggest fanbase accounts even closed their account temporarily. Their reason? We want to make room for Jungkook to decide for himself what he wants to say, if he really wants to. An honest confession, as well as a form of solidarity that is so emotional. Now, all eyes are on Jungkook. Will he speak up? Or will he still choose silence, while bearing all this burden alone? And one of the most pressing questions, what really happened in Tokyo? And when the world began to calm down, when the hashtag Tokyo Trip Jungkook began to drop from trending, something unexpected happened again. A former reality show production staffer in Japan wrote a short tweet that shook things up again. We were asked to remove the footage, but I still remember his face. He wasn't alone then. The ARMY was again divided. Who was with Jungkook at the time? Does this mean that rumors about someone waiting for Jungkook in Tokyo are true? Or is this just part of the media's manipulative game to add spice to a story that should already be bitter enough? No one can be sure. But fans' recollections bring them to one point, a 2-week period when Jungkook disappeared from the radar with no posts, no public appearances, no apparent reason. At the time, the agency only said that Jungkook is taking time for himself. But now, that statement feels like a code that has finally been translated with pain. Taehyung never mentions names. But as the follow-up interview took place, which was conducted behind closed doors and only for the documentary's internal archives, he uttered a single sentence that left the journalists present speechless. Sometimes, love is not about having, but about remembering calmly without having to explain to anyone. And the word love resonated louder than anything he had ever said. As everyone knows, Taehyung is not the type to use that word carelessly. Does that mean Jungkook in love? In Tokyo? In secret, questions began to haunt fans' minds. If there really was someone who meant so much to Jungkook, why didn't he ever share it? Is it because of his status as an idol who demands perfection and solitude? Is it because there is an unwritten rule that love should be kept secret or sacrificed? And, even more suffocating, is he still with her, or have they already parted? Many ARMY began to unravel old footage, trying to reunite the pieces of truth. One of the most shared clips was from last year's encore concert, when Jungkook sang "Still With You" while shedding tears. At that time, everyone thought he was just carried away. But now, they're different. The song is like a farewell. Someone wrote in a forum, and thousands of comments agreed. Suddenly, the tone of the song changed its meaning. It's not just a love song. Confession in silence. A message from someone who wants to say something, but can't, shouldn't, or is too afraid to hurt many hearts. One of the insiders, who did not want to be named, also shared a surprising thing. According to him, before his sudden departure to Tokyo, Jungkook had sat together for a long time with Taehyung. They didn't talk much, but there was one moment he remembered very well. Jungkook was crying, and Taehyung was just holding his hand. Didn't say anything, but their expressions are like, say goodbye. And now, with all this coming to the fore, the ARMY can no longer be silent. But strangely enough, they can't scream either. It was as if Jungkook's respect for privacy was greater than curiosity. As if their love, it is no longer about having information, but about protecting wounds that do not necessarily want to be opened. But the wound, whether realized or not, slowly began to leak out of itself. In a short live session that Jungkook did a few days after the issue broke out, he looked different. His face remained smiling, but his eyes, empty. And when one of the comments asked innocently, "Appa, are you happy?" Jungkook just read, smiled a little, then lowered his head. For 11 seconds. No answer. No talking. Just shut up. Then live is turned off. It was the shortest live broadcast he had ever done. And in that silence, ARMY understands. Some fans wrote open letters, not to ask for an explanation, but to show that they knew. that they don't need an official confession to believe that something very deep is going on in Jungkook's heart. One of the letters was even viral, titled, "We don't need to know who he is. We just want you not to cry anymore." And Taehyung? He chose not to say anything more. After that emotional interview, he shut himself off from the media. However, in her virtual concert a week later, she played an instrumental song. No lyrics, no narration, just piano. But the question now is no longer who is with Jungkook in Tokyo, but why he has to hide it so deeply that Taehyung finally chooses to open up little by little to digest it because of feelings of guilt. Scared? Or because of a promise? Yes, a promise. The word became the key to this whole puzzle. Because after almost a month since Taehyung's emotional interview, a former choreographer of their team released a shocking statement in a small podcast that no one initially glanced at, but in the 47th minute, he said one sentence that left the entire fandom speechless. "I saw him write that letter." Jungkook wrote it with trembling hands. He said, "I promise, it's only for one person." And he burned the letter after reading it over and over again. Letters? Burned. Army was again ignited by curiosity. If it's a love letter, why burn it? If it was a goodbye, why was it never sent? And if it's just for one person, is that person gone from Jungkook's life? Or is it still waiting, quietly behind the scenes? This silence actually creates an inner commotion that is much more deafening than clarification. And ironically, Taehyung, who opened this secret door, is now the center of attention, again without her asking. When she appeared on a Japanese variety show a few weeks later, there was one moment where the host innocently asked, "Do you ever feel sorry to open something that should have remained a secret?" And Taehyung just laughed a little, but after that laugh, he was silent, looked straight at the camera, and with a barely quivering voice answered, "If I don't open it, he'll never be free." The word free was a new clue. Is Jungkook bound by something not just professionally, but emotionally? Is the trip to Tokyo actually a form of small rebellion, a desire to breathe air without labels, without highlights, without expectations? A fan in Tokyo claimed to have seen Jungkook standing alone in front of an old music store in the Shimikitazawa area. He stood for a long time, holding his headphones, and seemed to be talking to himself. As the fan tried to get closer, Jungkook just turned his head, smiled slightly, and said, "This place holds a voice that never comes out." Is it a special place? Is there a memory he can never share? But surprisingly, a week after Taehyung's interview aired, the music store was closed. Permanent. Non annoncement. No reason. Like traces deliberately erased from a map, to protect memories that are too fragile to be touched back. And of all this, the most surprising was Jungkook's own change of attitude. He became more reserved in live broadcasts, more careful when answering fans' questions, and most noticeably, he no longer sings his old songs in the same way. "Still With You" is an instrumental. "My Time" was changed to a darker arrangement, almost without a beat. Even as she sang Dreamers at the International Awards show, her eyes weren't what they used to be, a person on the production team said. It was like he was performing something for people who weren't present. And when asked about Tokyo by the Japanese media, in a lighthearted, no-nonsense style, Jungkook replied with a single sentence that left everyone in the room speechless. "Some cities are not for visiting, but to remember." And with that, the interview closes. No follow-up. No follow-up questions. Because everyone knows, the words carry more weight than they can bear. Then, one night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., a time that mysteriously appears in many of BTS's lyrics, Taehyung posted a single black and white photo on Instagram story. The photo shows two empty wooden chairs, facing a large window with half-open curtains. Outside, it looks like rain. The caption, "Someone was waiting for you there." The army was stunned. Is that a message for Jungkook? Or to someone Jungkook left behind? Is this a sign that the story is not over yet? More surprisingly, a few hours later, the post was deleted. But not fast enough. The screenshots are gone. It's been immortalized. It has become a new history written not with ink, but with emotion. And amid all the silence, one fan comment stuck out and went viral. "We don't know who he is, but we know Jungkook loves her deep enough not to talk about it. And from there, the army began to change its approach.